I want you to do something for me. Stop for a moment and truly imagine. Imagine looking in the mirror exactly 30 days from now and feeling a chill run down your spine as you fail to recognize the person staring back. This isn't a physical change. It's something much deeper. It's the frequency you broadcast to the world, an energy of calm and power that fills the room. It's the end of hesitation in your voice, the straightness of your posture, and a clarity in your eyes that people around you cannot ignore. They feel they are in the presence of someone who is a master of themselves, someone unshakable. Hold that image. Feel its power. Now, let's crash back to reality, to the right now. That image seems distant, almost impossible, doesn't it? Because the reality of today is the frustration of being stuck in the same loop. It's that nagging voice of regret at the end of the day. It's the broken promise of tomorrow I'll change, as tomorrow becomes today, and the cycle repeats. It's the quiet desperation of knowing you are capable of more, yet feeling paralyzed by an invisible force. What if I told you that this invisible force is a lie you've been conditioned to believe? What if the key to unlocking that powerful version of yourself isn't found in the search for comfort, motivation, or the right moment? What if the key is hidden in the last place you'd ever look, in the heart of discomfort, in the middle of the chaos you spend your entire life trying to avoid? This is the shocking and nearly forgotten truth that the ancient Stoics used to forge emperors and leaders from ordinary men. They possessed a user's manual for the human mind that has been buried under the noise of modern life. We are not talking about hacks or positive thinking. We are talking about a re-engineering of your identity. Before we reveal the first step on this map, I need you to make a decision. This video isn't for passive viewers, it's for builders. If you are determined to stop being a product of your circumstances, declare your commitment. Subscribe to this channel to join a community of people who have chosen the path of strength. Like this video as a signal to the algorithm and to yourself that this message matters. And most importantly, go down to the comments and write, "I decide," as a public contract with your future self. Share this with someone you know is fighting the same battle. Now, if you are ready to build, let's begin. Part 1. The Forge of Discomfort. Training. The will. Be honest with yourself. What does it feel like to avoid what's hard? It's a momentary relief, a small, cheap dose of dopamine, followed by the bitter, lingering aftertaste of self-disappointment. It's the silent tax you pay for choosing ease, a debt that compounds day after day, weakening your willpower and eroding your self-respect. Most people live this life, an instinctive flight toward the warmth of immediate pleasure, the endless scroll, the needless snack, the procrastination of a crucial conversation. They don't realize that every choice for comfort is one less brick in the foundation of their inner citadel, the Stoic concept of an unbreachable mental fortress, a fortress with weak foundations built on the sand of comfort will crumble at the first tremor, but one built on the bedrock of discipline stands firm against any storm. You don't forge a blade by stroking it. You plunge it into the incandescent fire and strike it with the hammer. Your soul, your character, your resilience are no different. Your transformation begins here with a conscious act of rebellion against your own weakness. Start every morning with a chosen discomfort. Let's break down the cold shower. The true battle isn't the physical sensation of cold. It's the psychological war that wages in the 10 seconds before you turn the handle. Your primal brain, the part wired for comfort and survival, screams at you. It manufactures 1,000 reasonable-sounding excuses. It's too cold today. You're tired? You deserve a break. This is a stupid exercise. What's the point anyway? Victory is not in enduring the cold. Victory is in turning the handle despite that internal chorus of resistance. In that single, deliberate act, you are teaching your nervous system, you are teaching your very soul a profound lesson. I am in control. not my fleeting impulses of aversion. The initial shock of the water is a physical baptism, washing away hesitation. It's followed by a surge of endorphins, a wave of primal clarity and vibrant energy, a feeling of absolute triumph that colors the entire day. You have fought your first battle and won, before the world even had a chance to test you. Each cold shower is another stone laid in the wall of your inner citadel. Now consider the profound discomfort of absolute silence. We are a civilization addicted to noise. The moment there is a void, we rush to fill it with podcasts, music, news, social media chatter, anything to avoid the sound of our own thoughts. This is your challenge. Sit for just 10 minutes. No phone, no music, no distractions, just you and the space around you. At first, it will feel like torture. Your mind, unused to being unheard, will scream for attention. Anxious thoughts, half-forgotten worries and endless to-do lists will bubble to the surface. This is the inner chaos you normally mask with external noise. Do not fight it. Simply observe it. If you persist, something miraculous happens. The storm of thoughts begins to settle. The muddy water becomes clear. And in the quiet space that opens up, you begin to hear a different voice. A calmer, wiser voice that has been drowned out for years. Your own. The discomfort of silence is the price of admission to self-knowledge. Finally, explore the subtle power of fasting. Beyond the metabolic benefits, fasting is a direct training ground for the will. The discomfort is the pang of hunger, but the practice quickly teaches you to distinguish between true physiological hunger and the psychological, habitual craving for stimulus. It's the desire to eat because you're bored or stressed or because the clock says it's lunchtime. By deliberately abstaining, you learn to sit with the discomfort of a craving, to observe it as a passing wave, and to realize it has no ultimate power over you. You are not a slave to your appetites. This is a fundamental lesson in self-control, the very cornerstone of the Stoic path to freedom. True freedom isn't the ability to have whatever you want, but the ability to not need what you want. The purpose of these practices is not self-punishment, it is self-respect. It's about intentionally hardening yourself in controlled doses for the inevitable hardships of life. Adversity is a certainty. The only variable is whether your training will have prepared you for it. Part 2. The Architect's First Principle. The Dichotomy of Control. Before we can build any higher, we must lay the most important stone of the foundation, the master principle of Stoic thought. The philosopher Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most influential thinkers of his time, distilled the entire art of living into one simple, earth-shattering idea, the dichotomy of control. He stated, "Some things are up to us and some things are not up to us." Within this simple distinction lies the key to eliminating anxiety, frustration, and suffering. Let's be brutally clear about what is not up to us. You do not control the traffic on your way to work. You do not control the weather. You do not control the economy. You do not ultimately control what other people think, say, or do. You don't control their opinions of you, whether they like you, whether they agree with your politics, or whether they return your email. You don't control your health entirely, nor your reputation, nor your own mortality. Modern life is a recipe for misery precisely because it tricks us into believing we can and should control these things. We spend 99% of our emotional energy fighting battles on territory we don't own, and we are left exhausted, anxious, and powerless. This is the source of most human suffering. Now, what is up to us? The list is much shorter, but infinitely more powerful. Up to you are your choices, your judgments, your beliefs, your aversions, and your desires. In short, your inner world. Your response to the traffic jam is up to you. Your judgment about the weather is up to you. Your character in the face of economic uncertainty is up to you. The effort you put into your work is up to you, though the outcome is not. The kindness you show to someone who is rude to you is up to you. This is the only domain where you are a true sovereign. This is your inner citadel. The Stoics' goal is to turn their attention inward, away from the uncontrollable chaos of the external world, and focus all their energy on fortifying this inner kingdom. When you truly internalize this principle, the world shifts. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become an architect of your character. An insult from another person can no longer harm you because their words are external. Only your judgment that their words are harmful can cause you pain, and that judgment is entirely within your control. This is not a passive philosophy, it is the ultimate empowerment. It is the realization that no one and nothing can force you to think, feel, or act against your own reasoned choice, unless you allow it. Part 3. The Stoic Compass, the Four Cardinal Virtues. If the dichotomy of control is the foundation of our citadel, then the four cardinal virtues are the compass we use to navigate every moment within it. For the Stoics, the entire purpose of life was to live with arete, or excellence, and this excellence was expressed through four interconnected virtues. They are not abstract ideals, but practical guides for action. The first virtue is wisdom, Sophia. This is not about accumulating facts or being book smart. It is the profound skill of navigating the complexities of life. It is the knowledge of what is truly good, virtue, what is truly bad, vice, and what is indifferent, everything else, health, wealth, reputation, etc. Wisdom is the master virtue that guides the others. The practices of discomfort, silence, and the view from above are all exercises in cultivating wisdom. They force you to see the world as it is, not as your ego or emotions would have it. Wisdom is the ability to pause between a stimulus and a response and make a reasoned choice. It is the opposite of the mindless reactivity that governs most people's lives. The second virtue is justice, dikaiosune. For the Stoics, justice was not merely a legal concept, but a social and ethical one. It means treating every person with fairness, respect, and kindness, recognizing the spark of the divine logos within them. This virtue is the great counterweight to the ego. Justice demands that we act for the common good, that we see ourselves as part of an interconnected whole. It is the understanding that harming another is, in a cosmic sense, harming ourselves. This means being a good parent, a good neighbor, a good citizen. It means acting with integrity even when no one is watching. It means responding to rudeness, not with more rudeness, but with a quiet strength and understanding, because that is what a virtuous person does. The third virtue is courage, Andrea. This is perhaps the most misunderstood virtue. It is not the absence of fear. A Stoic feels fear just like anyone else. Courage is acting rightly despite the fear. It is not just physical bravery on a battlefield, but the moral courage to face uncomfortable truths, to speak up for what is right, even when your voice shakes, to endure hardship without complaint, and to risk your reputation, your comfort, or your status in the service of justice and wisdom. Every time you step into a cold shower, you are practicing a microdose of courage. Every time you choose to have a difficult conversation instead of avoiding it, you are strengthening this virtue. The fourth and final virtue is temperance, sophrosyne. This is the virtue of moderation, self-discipline, and balance. In a world that constantly screams for more food, more entertainment, more possessions, more outrage, temperance is the quiet, powerful no. It is the mastery of one's own desires. Fasting is a direct exercise in temperance. The art of refusal is the strategic application of temperance to your entire life. It is the understanding that true happiness does not come from the endless satisfaction of desires, but from the deliberate cultivation of fewer, more meaningful ones. Temperance is what keeps the other virtues in balance, preventing courage from becoming recklessness, justice from becoming harshness, and wisdom from becoming cold and detached. These four virtues are not separate qualities to be collected. They are four facets of a single, unified state of being, living a good, rational, and excellent life. They are the true north on your compass. In any situation, you can ask, what would be the wise thing to do? What would be the just thing to do? What would be the courageous thing to do? What would be the temperate thing to do? The answer to those questions is the Stoic path. Part 4. Mastering the Ego, Defending the Inner Citadel. With our compass in hand, we can now address the chief traitor within the citadel walls, the ego. As you grow stronger and more virtuous, the ego will launch its most insidious attack. It will take your genuine progress and twist it into a tool of separation, whispering, "You're better than others. You've figured it all out." They are weak and reactive, but you are strong and disciplined. This is the great trap. The moment you begin to derive your sense of self-worth from comparing yourself to others, the moment you need to be right in an argument, you have surrendered the key to your inner citadel. You have made your peace dependent on something external, the validation of others. Aristotle said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." To know yourself stoically is to know your ego. It is to observe its desperate need for validation as a symptom of fear, fear of insignificance, fear of being wrong. The person who must loudly proclaim their strength is the one who doubts it most. The truly strong have no need for such displays. Practice the radical power of what the Stoics called apatheia. Not apathy, but a state of equanimity where you are unmoved by the ego's provocations. When someone cuts you off in traffic, your ego screams for righteous anger. Let it scream and choose peace. When someone publicly disagrees with you, your ego demands a devastating rebuttal. Let it demand and choose understanding or even silence. Feel the immense liberating lightness that comes when you lay down the heavy burden of having to be right. This silence is not weakness. It's the quiet confidence of an unbreachable fortress. This is the power Marcus Aurelius wielded. As emperor, he had every right to crush his critics. Instead, he wrote to himself, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." He understood that reacting with anger and ego meant allowing the other person to dictate the terms of his inner state. By choosing virtue and calm, he remained the sole ruler of his inner citadel. Use the dichotomy of control as your shield. Is the other person's opinion up to you? No. Is their rudeness up to you? No. Is your calm, reasoned, and virtuous response up to you? Yes. This is the only point that matters. Carl Jung's insight is your guide. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The irritation is a spotlight showing you a weak point in your own wall, an attachment to an external thing, like your reputation or your intelligence, that needs to be severed. Part 5. The view from above. Expanding the citadel. Now that we are learning to defend the citadel, we must learn to understand its place in the wider world. At the end of a long day, when the walls of your mind feel like they are closing in, practice the exercise of cosmic liberation. Lie down, and instead of sinking into the whirlpool of your thoughts, imagine your consciousness detaching and floating upwards. Rise above your body through the roof of your home. See the intricate map of your neighborhood, then the sprawling tapestry of your city. Keep rising, watching continents shrink and oceans expand, until the entire planet Earth hangs beneath you, a silent, swirling marble of blue and white, a beautiful jewel suspended in the vast, velvet blackness of the cosmos. From this view from above, look back at your worries, that stressful project at work, that argument with a loved one, that deep anxiety about the future. Where are they now? They have not vanished. but they have been put in their proper context. They are infinitesimal specks of dust on a single tiny planet, orbiting one star among billions, in one galaxy among trillions. This exercise doesn't make your problems meaningless. It makes them manageable. It drains them of their catastrophic power. This was Marcus Aurelius's nightly meditation. It connected him to what the Stoics called the logos, the rational, organizing principle of the universe. It reminded him that he was a small part of a much larger, interconnected whole. From this vantage point, he could embrace the ultimate Stoic ideal, amor fati, the love of one's fate. This is a step beyond mere acceptance. It is the practice of seeing everything that happens in your life, the good and the bad, the triumphant and the tragic, as if you had willed it yourself. It is the belief that every obstacle is a hidden opportunity for growth, every setback a lesson in virtue. To love your fate is to become invincible, for how can you be harmed by that which you welcome as a part of your own heroic journey? This perspective is the ultimate expression of the inner citadel. It expands the walls of your mind to encompass the entire cosmos, finding peace not by shutting the world out, but by understanding your place within it. Part 6. Forging the Shield, Premeditatio Malorum and Memento Mori. A fortress is not only defended, it is actively strengthened against future attacks. The Stoics had two powerful mental exercises for this: Premeditatio Malorum and Memento Mori. Premeditatio Malorum, or the premeditation of evils, is often misunderstood as pessimism. It is, in fact, strategic resilience training. The practice involves sitting down quietly and vividly imagining things going wrong. Don't just think about it, feel it. Imagine losing your job. Imagine a cherished relationship ending. Imagine a health crisis. What would you do? How would you cope? What virtues, courage, justice, temperance, wisdom would you need to call upon? The purpose of this exercise is threefold. First, it strips future misfortunes of their power of shock and surprise. When you have already rehearsed a disaster in your mind, you are less likely to panic if it occurs. Second, it often leads you to take practical steps to prevent these outcomes. Third, and most importantly, after contemplating loss, you return to your present reality with a profound sense of gratitude. Your job, your relationships, your health, things you took for granted, are suddenly revealed as fragile, precious gifts. The second shield is memento mori. Remember, you must die. In our culture, this is a taboo, a morbid thought to be pushed away. For the Stoics, it was the ultimate tool for clarity and purpose. Holding the reality of your own mortality at the forefront of your mind is like a clarifying fire that burns away everything that is not essential. If you knew this was your last day on earth, would you waste it on petty arguments? Would you scroll mindlessly through social media? Would you procrastinate on that important work that is your calling? The answer is almost certainly no. The thought of death forces you to ask the most important question: am I living a life I will be proud of at its end? It injects a sense of urgency and meaning into every moment. It compels you to stop deferring your life and to live fully, virtuously, and with purpose, right now. Part 7, the art of refusal, designing a life of purpose. Finally, armed with all these tools, you become the master, architect of your life. And great architecture is often defined by what is left out. The art of living a purposeful life is the art of refusal. It is the conscious and deliberate decision to subtract everything that is not aligned with your highest self. Create your refusal list, your blueprint for a life of clarity. This is a dynamic document. I refuse to consume news that only serves to make me angry and fearful without providing actionable information. This single act reclaims hours of your life and vast reserves of mental energy. It is a refusal to be a pawn in the outrage economy. I refuse to maintain one-sided relationships where I am the only one giving energy. This is an act of self-respect. It declares that your time and emotional output are valuable and will not be given away to emotional vampires. It creates space for relationships built on mutual respect and support. I refuse to let the fear of missing out, FOMO, dictate my decisions. This is a refusal to live by someone else's definition of a good life. It is the courage to choose a quiet night of reading over a party you don't want to attend, to choose a passion project over a more prestigious but soul-crushing career path. I refuse to clutter my mind and home with things I do not need or truly value. This applies to physical possessions, digital subscriptions, and mental baggage. It is a commitment to a life of elegant simplicity, where every object and every idea has a purpose and brings you closer to your virtuous ideal. I refuse to engage in gossip or complaining. This is a refusal to pollute your own mind and the minds of others. Complaining focuses on what's wrong and outside your control. Stoicism is about focusing on what's right and within your control. Gossip is a cheap form of connection that erodes character. Refusing it forces you to find more meaningful ways to connect with people. Each no on this list is a powerful yes to something more important. Saying no to gossip is saying yes to meaningful conversation. Saying no to mindless distraction is saying yes to deep work and focus. Saying no to the expectations of others is saying yes to the integrity of your own soul. You are no longer a sponge, passively absorbing the chaos of the world. You are a sculptor, deliberately carving away the non-essential to reveal the masterpiece that is your true self. You have absorbed the blueprints, the maps to the architecture of an unshakable soul. But knowledge without action is dust in the wind. It's useless. It all comes down now to a single act, a ritual that will serve as your daily anchor to the person you are becoming. Not a list of 30 things, but one: a silent walk, a challenging cold shower, a brutally honest paragraph in a journal, something non-negotiable. This act is your declaration. It is the materialization of your decision. As Carl Jung said, you are what you do, not what you say you will do. Motivation is a fickle emotion, a visitor that comes and goes. Identity is an embodied discipline, a muscle you build through daily repetition. The great Stoics didn't wait to feel like it. They acted according to their vows, and the action created the willpower. Aristotle gave us the final key. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Your daily ritual is not just a habit. It is the practice of excellence. It is what will, day by day, silently shape your presence in the world. You are now standing at a crossroads. The path to the left is comfort, the familiar, the same cycle of frustration and regret that brought you here. It is the slow, comfortable path to a life you will one day look back on with a sigh. The path to the right is the one we've described. It is difficult, it requires discipline, and you will often walk it alone. But it leads to the version of yourself you admire, a version forged in fire, solid and true. The map is in your hands. If you have chosen the path of strength, make your commitment real and undeniable. Subscribe and join an alliance of individuals who are on this same journey. Like this video as a testament to your decision. And most importantly, go to the comments and share your signature act. What is the one non-negotiable ritual you will adopt starting today? Writing it down makes it real and creates a ripple of inspiration for everyone else. Share this video and be a lighthouse for others. Your journey does not end here. This was just the beginning. To deepen your training, click on the video that is now on your screen. It is the next logical step to mastering your inner world. Thank you for walking this path with us. Remember, you don't rise by accident. You rise by choice, a quiet, daily, and deliberate choice. The choice is yours.